That's better. Good morning from beautiful downtown Crestline in the San Bernardino Mountains of Southern California's Inland Empire, where we keep getting robbed, cheated of rain. The clouds roll in and then the clouds roll out, and we don't get any rain. Uh, Tora, quit clawing my chair. Bad cat. Kitties. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to roll on in and get seated and comfortable. Hi, Cardinal Sin. In the chat room. You're the first one in today. Okay, cat treats. I'm on the desktop computer. I wasn't sure whether I could use it this morning because it wanted to update Windows again, but it's here. It's on. It's done. I've opened all the movies. Hi, Howard. Howard's here. I've opened or unboxed all the movies. Haven't managed to watch them all, but of course my favorite is the Doctor Who with Tom Baker. Yeah, the desktop. Oh, the tea kettle's calling me. Let me make some instant coffee real quick, and I'll be right back. Dum-de-dum, dum-de-dum-de-dum, dum-de-dum, dum-de-dum-de-dum. Dum-de-dum, dum-dum-dum. I'm working on it. I'm slow. And Gimpy. Dum-de-dum, dum-de-dum-de-dum. What are you cats doing? Are you clawing my chair again? Oh boy. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cats. Tora and Sweetie Pie. You kitties. Dum 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 dum. Okay, now cold water on top. I'm almost there. I'm almost back. The cats are helping by getting in front of me and then sitting down. Sorry about that. I don't usually have people in chat quite at the beginning of the show, so I'm used to having time to fiddle around. Well, hi, Jan. In the chat room. I was going to go through some yard sale finds, all cookbooks. Can't find them. At this point, I think I might know where they are, but I can't get to it. Even though I've reduced the clutter in the living room and the bedroom, it's still awfully cluttered. But I shredded a bunch of old documents yesterday and organized some things so that the really important keepers are not stuck in the same box as the not important keepers. Well, hi, Jason. getting a full chat room this morning. Okay, so I didn't find the cookbooks. I found a few yard sale cookbooks, but they're not the mother lode. They're things like Atkins Diet and Weight Watchers that I'm not going to use. I'm going to give them away. There they are. My fancy English cigarettes. Smoking seriously harms you and others around you. Tora, does my smoking harm you? Huh, kitty cat? Smoking is highly addictive. Don't start. But they're Dunhills. They never used to have these horrible warnings. At least they don't have photographs of diseased lungs. Come here, Tora. Let me scratch you. I was trying to get her to hop up and get on camera, but I guess I'll have to do the usual, point the camera at the cat. Tora. There, here she is. And Sweetie's hiding way over there. She's so gorgeous. I wish she'd let me pet her, but she won't. What, Tora? You like my camera? Do ya? Just shut up, lady. Give me the treats. Where's my treats? Okay. All right. How about the green one? Huh? Okay, so no cookbooks, but I did find more of my books that I could give away. If you have not already won a book, what the heck? Let me see. Tora, you're not helping. Honest, it isn't helpful for the cat to run over and sit on the thing I want to pick up. Oh, come on. There, here it is. Blade Runner creator, Philip K. Dick. And yes, my picture is backward today. I'm looking at the title. All the words are backward. But I know what they say. And with artwork by, of course, the most generous British tech guy. Oh dear, I didn't put his name in this one. And I'm blanking on it. The cover art is by, let me see. Let me see if I put his name in this one. Criminy. Did I put it on the back cover? No. I'm a brainless idiot today. It must be in this one. I'm terrible. Here we go. Nick Buchanan. He does amazing artwork. And he doesn't apparently make his living as an artist. Hi, Wita, which is short for what I think about. Yeah, the camera shows the picture forward to you, but backward to me, which was one of the reasons I have trouble pointing the camera at the cat, because everything's backward for me, but not for you. It's kind of like looking in a mirror for me. Anyway, I can give away a copy of my exploration more than review. Well, yeah, it's a review of the Blade Runner. Heck, what was the year? 2049, I think. Boy, I'm blanking on lots of things. 2049. And it talks about the first Blade Runner film and the novel, Philip K. Dick. Sorry about the audio. Do androids dream of electric sheep? Come on. Delete. Okay. So my audio is cutting in and out, but my dashboard says everything's good. You see, for the first few days of every month, well, really from the 30th of the previous month till the second or third day of the next month, I have the best internet, especially at night, after dark, after prime time. Well, thank you, Jen and Howard. Maybe restarting a computer will fix the sound. Anyway, if you haven't already won a book, I should give this one away today. Signed by the author, of course. That's me. And, mail it to the winner. What we usually do is have you pick a number, and whoever comes closest wins. But as near as I can tell, we have two contenders today. Cardinal Sin and Jason haven't won books. But Cardinal Sin, I would send you a book if you asked. Because he has me on his YouTube channel from time to time. And it's a great channel. Of course, he cusses more than I do. But put me alone in a room with a cat and a computer, especially the computer. The cat is not necessary. I could make a sailor blush. I know how to cuss. I simply choose not to. You have all my books and they're autographed? Did I sign them all to you? I doubt it, Cardinal Sin. Because I have books under my maiden name. Like, sorry for the funky artwork. Did it myself. Bad Moon Rising by L.A. That's L.A. Busby. My maiden name and my pen name. I have a couple books out under my maiden name. It made Dad happy and proud. I don't remember signing all of them. Did you buy them on eBay? If so, thank you for supporting my friend Zach. He splits the profits with me, and he does all the work. Okay, so the only contender today that I know of is Jason. I think you've all, well, no, Howard's wife Lily hasn't won a book. Let's see, Jan has, and Witta has, and Howard has. Oh, well. So, we'll wait and see if anyone else wanders in. Oh, and Cardinal Sin, do you have my murder mystery? Murder Lies? Huh. This is one where I messed up. And the title page is on the verso, and it should be on the recto. It's on the wrong side of the book. Oh well. My gosh, it's been 12 years, and I'm still trying to write the sequel. Well, we'll have to get you copies of some of my other books that they're not science fiction. Murder Lies is a murder mystery, and I'm trying to finish up the sequel, Murder Bleeds. But murder mysteries are incredibly difficult to write because I'm constantly going back and forth to make sure that the continuity is correct. Like if the guy was wearing a brown hat and had a beard way back in chapter 2, I can't suddenly have him, bald and hairless with a red hat in chapter 10 without explaining why. And shiny bald head with no hat or a red hat. Anyway, whatever. Bad Moon Rising is a werewolf novel, of course. Kind of inspired by that Creedence Clearwater Revival song. There's a bad moon on the rise. Or as we used to call it in the 60s, there's a bathroom on the right, because we couldn't understand the words. Hi, Oswald. Oswald, have you won a book yet? Found a book to give away today. Blade Runner creator Philip K. Dick by me, with artwork by Nick Buchanan. Oh, you won my cookbook, Oswald. That's right. Yeah, I'm working on a sequel to that one as well as the murder mystery. Adventures in Cooking. Have I made the coleslaw? Oh, the coleslaw, in my opinion, is the one recipe that's worth the whole book. And it isn't even mine, it's Dad's second wife, Nita. From time to time, you'll stumble across her essay on the internet, Nita June Petrunio. Her master's work was about Philip K. Dick. And people still insist they don't know who she is. And when I try to tell them, they just kind of shrug and ignore it. She was a student of Dr. Willis McNally at Cal State Fullerton. And so Dr. McNally had her, arranged for her to interview my husband, Phil. And I arranged for my dad, who was recently abandoned by Mom, the devil's sister. I arranged for Dad to come to dinner on the same night when Nita was interviewing Phil, and the rest is history. I knew he'd like her because she was a lot like Mom. A lot. Not quite as physically vulnerable as Mom. Mom was the second baby of an Rh negative mother, and both Mom and her older sister were Rh positive, so and born at home because that's what you did in 1930. You went to the hospital to die, not to give birth. Especially a granny who grew up on a farm. Anyway, so Mom was probably what they called a blue baby, oxygen deprived. Anyway, so she had physical vulnerabilities as well as total insanity. Let's see, Cardinal Sin says, my paper on cyberpunk is getting a ton of references on academia.edu. Yeah, I really need to upload something to academia.edu. I've read a lot of papers there, but I haven't posted any, and I really should. There's just so many hours in a day, and I'm really limited now mentally and physically because I have this chronic pain. One of my fans sent me a packet of kratom, or maybe it's kratom or kratom, Kratom. It makes me happy, but it doesn't really do a lot for the pain. And I've been warned that it can become addictive. So mostly I'm using Bengay. It's better than Aspercreme or really any of the others. You just slather it on to where it hurts, and it does help. Okay, Cardinal Sin's paper is Cyberpunk, the genre that wasn't. Yeah, I never understood what the big deal was about Cyberpunk, but apparently it made William Gibson's career. Billy Idol did a Cyberpunk album? Thank you, Jason. Anyway, it's simply science fiction. That's what cyberpunk is. Oh, Oswald says the problem with cyberpunk is that punk is dead. Oh, I'm Max. I'll just call you Maxim. Let's see, it's Maximiliano Ponce. I think that's South American, maybe Brazil. Okay. You like Billy Idol, but his album Cyberpunk was awful. Argentina. Okay, so that's Spanish, not Portuguese. Good. Portuguese is worse than French. Can't learn it. They both get me confused because I took Spanish in school. And my Spanish is not very good. Max for short. I like Maxim. It's a word you should look up. A maxim is like a wise saying or a proverb. Well, anyway, let's see. Um, Max, you can compete with Jason and anyone else who hasn't already won a book, because today I'll be giving away Blade Runner creator Philip K. Dick. Might take a while for the post office to get it down to Argentina, but it can be done. Oh, Maxim used to be a men's magazine. I forgot about that, Cardinal Sin. Men's magazine without all the dirty pictures. Yeah. Oswald says academia.edu is one of those things I've been putting off joining for years. It really would have saved me some time by now looking for info. Yeah, it's a great source. But they keep recommending articles to me that just don't interest me, and then I miss the ones that do. Blade Runner Creator, it's my most recent, published in 2018, 4 years ago. Oh, gosh. Sorry, my sinuses are doing tickles. I will be back. I got to take care of this. Dum de dum, dum de dum de dum. Dum de dum, dum de dum de dum. It's not painful, it's tickling. I think I got it. There. Okay, Oswald uses eucalyptus essential oil in the neti pot. Sinus rinse. Probably dangerous. Yeah, probably. Well, I've given up the neti pot for now, and I got the saline spray. Let me see. It should be here. Deep Sea Premium Saline. I keep pointing at the screen instead of the camera. It's you spray it into your nose. Reason being that overuse of the neti pot can actually damage your sinuses. So it's only a last resort for me. I sound like I'm feeling better, Cardinal Sin says. Yeah, I have more energy. And I have a lumbar pillow. It helps my back. And the rocking chair is nice too. All right, what have I done? Oh, I put them both in the same pocket. Okay. Anyway, yeah, Great Granny's rocking chair is more comfortable than a straight back chair that doesn't rock. And now I've got the nice lumbar pillow, courtesy of my health insurance, and I've quit taking pills for pain. I was just taking things like Aleve and ibuprofen, but my ears started ringing, so I knew that it was time to quit. And besides, they're bad for my kidneys. But mainly, I'm using all those wonderful supplements that people have sent me, like glucosamine, chondroitin, MSM. They're all in one capsule. Let me see. That isn't it, of course. Come on. Here we go. Glucosamine, chondroitin, turmeric, and MSM, all in a single capsule. And vitamin D and vitamin K and boron. Is that what it's called? Boron complex. The doctor told me to take calcium supplements, but most doctors recommend that you stop taking it, calcium, at my age. I'm 68. Oh, shark cartilage. Yeah, I found that shark cartilage is hard to find, but when I was using it, it did wonderful things for my hair and fingernails and toenails, hair and nails. It really was. Okay, Oswald has a random question. Did Phil ever read Rudolf Steiner? No, but he read about Rudolf Steiner. Elena Freeland is going to be at a conference in Seattle next week. Yeah, Walter Bosley is really into all that stuff. I'm kind of sitting back and watching. I do sometimes listen to dark journalists talking about Rudolf Steiner and Madame Blavatsky and all that. But in my experience, many, if not most, religions have been scams. And okay, they call it a philosophy. Yeah, right. They have rituals and doctrine and dogma. They're a religion. Anthroposophy. Yeah. It's like worshiping mankind or humanity instead of God. Anthropos meaning man, and sophistry in current usage usually means mumbo jumbo, fake wisdom. So when you say anthroposophistry, Oswald, you're saying it's fake. Let's see. Cardinal Sin wants to know whether I've read the Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. Heard of him, haven't read it. I have a stack of books several feet tall to read for my research for yet a third book that I'm still working on about the exegesis of Philip K. Dick. I was making good progress and then I broke my hip. And then I was getting back into it and then I broke my back. And I was starting in on it again and I broke my back again. Just a couple months ago in June. At least the bones in my back are cracked, not completely broken. And they do seem to be healing. I'm not one to just lie down and think I'm going to heal by not doing things. If you want bones and muscles to heal, you need to use them. If it hurts a little, that's all right. If it hurts a lot, you quit, you back off, do something that doesn't hurt so much. But to a certain extent, pain means you're putting just enough stress on your bones and muscles to get the blood flowing and the healing happening. The blood will carry away any toxins and dead things, and the stress will encourage your bones and muscles to grow and heal. But if you're hurting yourself too much, it's counterproductive. It'll make you worse. Let's see. Okay. I don't know what that means, Oswald. I mean, I kind of know, but what's Vivekananda? Yogananda. Now, Phil did read the Bardo Thirdal, the journey after death when you're supposed to go to the bright white light, not the smoky red light. But I tend to believe Father Malachi Martin, who said, "Don't go to the light, it's a trick." You think chiropractic is quackery? Physical therapy, all that ever did for me is get me so messed up that I got car sick on the way back. Had to hang my head out the window and barf. But chiropractic has its uses. When my hip was messed up, it was partway out of the socket due to an injury. The chiropractor gently put it back where it belonged. He did it 3 times before it decided to stay there. And when my neck was so bad off I couldn't turn my head, he took this thing like a plunger and went doop, doop, doop on the back of my neck, gently. I don't go to the bone cruncher chiropractors. Well, I got immediate relief for my neck and never had to have another treatment. I go to the gentle chiropractor. Anyway, you know, if you have a chiropractor who knows what he's doing, he can put your bones back where they belong. But I've never had my back cracked and I never will. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They do. The schools do rip off people who want to become chiropractors. Um, Back in Orange County, when my son had a football injury, I took him to a chiropractor there, and I ended up getting a couple treatments myself. And then the one on the mountain that I've been discussing, who does the real gentle stuff, he was one of that doctor's students. And they were both very good at their job. And they understood that I'm fragile and you can't just crack my back. You have to go in gently. Oh well, getting off the track. Um, wow. This world, it has gone freaking nuts. Totally freaking nuts. And I don't expect, well, I suppose things will get better for a while if the Republicans sweep the midterms and take back the Senate and the House. But I don't expect miracles. They're all politicians. They're all, most of them are tax and spend politicians. They're going to get us out of the recession by making sure we have less money and that the money we do have is worth less than it was a year ago. Wages have been rising maybe 6%. Inflation, they say it's 9%, but in California, they say it's 11%. So, really, people who work for a living are actually, their wages are lower because they don't buy as much, but making more money increases their income taxes. So they can buy less stuff, they have to pay more taxes. Oh, Oswald has been busy in the chat. I'm scrolling back up for a minute. Anyway, Ben Gay has, oh, Tora. I moved Tora's furniture and she approves. But now I forget where I put things. The active ingredients are camphor, menthol, and methyl salicylate. Mostly methyl salicylate, which is basically aspirin. But you don't swallow it, you put it on the ouchie. I do have more energy today and I can sit a little longer. But my brain isn't quite working right. I've killed it by having that kidney infection last winter. The brain fog is lifting, but it isn't gone. Okay, let's do the book giveaway. If you have not won a book before, you have a good chance of winning Blade Runner creator Philip K. Dick, and I will sign it and mail it to you. You'll just have to email me if you win and give me a mailing address. Oh, Oswald, magnesium supplements. They're important, but the most common way to get a magnesium supplement is combined with calcium. And at my age, I shouldn't be taking calcium. Zinc is also a good one. Zinc deficiency can really mess you up, but I eat liver and homemade chicken soup, so I'm probably getting the trace minerals like zinc and magnesium, especially from liver. When you make chicken soup, it really does have healing properties, but you need to cook actual chicken with the bone. A lot of the nutrition is in the bone. Now let's give away a book. If you have not won a book before and you'd like to win this one, I'll pick a number between 1 and 10, and whoever comes closest will win the book. So just type in the chat any number between 1 and 10 for a chance to win the book. And I'll stay on for a bit longer while people decide which number I'm thinking. I'll try to transmit it telepathically. You need to email me at kitties. I'm typing it, cats, and I'm checking my spelling. 777. Yeah, I typed an A instead of an S. Kitties, S, please. Now, kitties cat 777 at gmail.com. Let me just check the spelling one more time. I'm really good at typos. That looks good. Send email with your mailing address. Yeah, I wonder why I picked 7. Kitty's cat 777. Okay. You see, since I'm not traveling and not doing conferences, and I have all these books that I prepared for the Philip K. Dick Festival that had to be canceled twice because of a pandemic, I've been giving them away. And I do write it off as a promotional expense. I actually earn so little with my books that I end up not owing income taxes, but I have to file. Jason won. Maybe next time, Max. I think you're probably. I think Max is probably the last one who has not won a book. Oh, I guess the chat is running faster than the audio on this one. Sometimes there's a big lag. One of the mysteries of YouTube. Maybe it's the other way around. I don't know. Well, Max, you're not in the Soviet Union. I had a Russian pen pal after the airlift in 1992. Well, actually, starting in 82, he was Phil's editor in Russia, in the Soviet Union. But then the wall came down and everything, and the U.S. arranged for the military to take packages to the former Soviet Union at a discounted rate. So I sent him some food, which was just ordinary groceries here, but a luxury there. I mean, they would go to the sugar store and wait in line for 2 hours, and then they ran out of sugar, so they didn't get any. Or they'd go to the shoe store and they didn't have their size. And they'd end up with potatoes. I guess they always had potatoes. Oh, yes, Cardinal Sin takes supplements because he's vegan. That's a good idea. Calcium, magnesium, and zinc. Well, at least you are not in Venezuela, Max. Count yourself lucky. Or the European Union, for that matter. Anyway, once in a while, I would send my Russian pen pal $5, and I would tell him so in my letter. And sometimes he got the $5, and sometimes the censors who read the mail would steal it. But he said that $5 allowed him to go to the dollar store. Now, here in the US, a dollar store sells everything for $1. In the Soviet Union, if you had American money, you could buy things that the other stores did not have. In fact, I was renting a room for $100 a month. And my pen pal in Volgograd said $5, $5 paid his rent for 1 month. And he had a 2-bedroom apartment. Amazing. I think Russia is stronger now, economy and so forth, and a lot more liberty. But it's still pretty much a dictatorship. It's evolving. Wow. Even now, the United States is a little better than these truly socialist countries, but our liberties are being stripped away. You see, freedom is what we have from, it's what we're born with. But liberty is what you're actually allowed to do as a free person. Wow. So when a military, a soldier or sailor or marine is off duty, they say that he or she is at liberty, not at freedom. And people seem to mix up the two. They think the government gives us freedom. No, the government allows us the liberty to exercise our freedom. Wrong cigarettes. Fancy Dunhills today. American cigarettes are crap, but Camel filters are not too bad. Let's see, Cardinal Sin says true communism tends to work well on a small scale, like a kibbutz in Israel. But the Soviet Socialist republics, yeah, dictatorship. Even now, the elites in Russia and their former satellite countries live a life of luxury while ordinary people really work hard just to get by. Yeah. Well, many of the 60s and 70s hippies, flower children, or just people who were fed up with civilization started small communities or communes, cooperative farms, and it worked with small groups of people who knew each other and cared about each other. But um, when it's imposed from the top and not a lifestyle choice, it doesn't work. Even people who agree with the concept of a commune will tend to rebel when it's imposed on them. Oh, yippies. Yeah, they're a little different from hippies. Anyway, you know, I like chocolate, but if someone tried to force me to eat chocolate, I probably would not eat it. I don't like being told what to do unless there's a good purpose for it. Like if the doctor tells me, eat this food or take that pill, I'll look into it. I'll do a little research, but I don't feel that he's imposing his will on me. And I'm willing to try a certain food or a pill. But when the government said you have to take the jab, I did not like that. It was forced. It was dictating. Well, I took the jab. And in a previous video many moons ago, I described what happened after the jab. And I was issued a warning, and the video was taken down. So I guess I can't talk about it. But I'm still negative if you trust the home testing kits that they keep sending me. If I think I have symptoms or it's just been a couple weeks, I'll do the home test again, and it always comes out negative. Oh, and that jab was over 2 years ago. Now, when I was a child, certain vaccinations are required for children to go to school. And that kind of makes sense. And I got all those vaccinations. The school provided them for free. We'd all line up in the playground and wait our turn for the DPT, and back then we had a smallpox vaccine. And when I was much younger than that, that was age 11. Back when I was 6 and 7, they were providing polio vaccines, both kinds, the shot and the sugar pill, the sugar cube. But they were much more willing to accept a doctor's recommendation if the doctor thought you should not have that shot. Usually it was like someone with health problems or who was born premature. The doctor would say, you should delay this until next year. Just put it off 1 year. And that was acceptable. Well, the government didn't mandate the jab, but let's see, you couldn't get on a bus, you couldn't get on a train, you couldn't get on an airplane, you couldn't go to a restaurant or a concert or a movie theater without proof of the jab. So, and you had to wear a mask too. Well, I still have to wear a mask at the doctor's office. And I will wear a mask if I've been coughing. I'm not worried for myself. I want to protect others in case I'm carrying whatever. Doesn't have to be the COVID. It can be the flu or a common cold or whatever makes you sneeze and cough. I have some common sense. And most doctors' offices will give you a mask if you ask for one. Hospitals, too. They used to just have a rack of masks and you pull one out and put it on, and now you have to ask someone for a mask because they realize that if you touch a mask that someone else is going to use, you might be transferring all sorts of germs. There's staph infections. Well, if you happen to be cooking, you might be carrying a few salmonella bacteria, food poisoning. And it isn't just meat that carries those things. I got really bad food poisoning from lettuce, iceberg lettuce. You just never know. Anyway, I had one jab, and I'm sure it's worn off because it's been more than 2 years, but I'm still testing negative. Keep praying and knocking on wood. But as I said, I don't worry for myself. I'm the fortunate descendant of survivors of a hard life. I had the flu in 1969. I was not very ill. I was taking care of people who were very ill. Yeah, vegetarians have less of a chance of food poisoning, but it does happen. If the fields are contaminated, the vegetables can carry it. So I make sure that vegetables that need to be cooked are cooked, and those that don't need cooking or just need a little steaming, I'll make a tub of water with a little vinegar and soak them for 10 minutes first, because that usually kills anything bad. It's like if you filled your whole kitchen sink with water, you'd add anywhere from half a cup to a full cup of vinegar. But there's one of me, I do small amounts, so I make a bowl of water with a tablespoon of vinegar. Seems to work, but lettuce, all the leaves are wrapped around each other. So now when I have lettuce, I slice it first and then put it in water with vinegar and then rinse it thoroughly so it doesn't taste like vinegar. Let's see. Cardinal Sin says when he was young, we used to go to Red Lobster, and my sister with the shrimp, and she loved it. So I thought I would love it too. But every time on the way home, I would throw up out the window. Yeah, some people react to shrimp. I used to be able to eat shrimp, but ever since I got one that wasn't properly deveined, I react to shrimp unless it's very carefully prepared. At a high end Chinese restaurant, I can have shrimp, but in some, I'm cool there. They're very careful. But at a place like Denny's or even Red Lobster, which is frankly overpriced and not that great, I don't take a chance on their shrimp. And deep fat fried shrimp at places like Popeyes, I think. I know Popeyes has chicken. I think they have shrimp. I just don't take the chance. Because a reaction to shrimp can land you in the hospital. And you know, foods like shrimp, lobster, clams, oysters, they're not kosher. Maybe Moses had some good sense that it's too easy to get food poisoning from seafood. Fish are fine, fish are good, but the filter feeders, clams, oysters, shrimp, lobster, mm, you're taking big chances, especially if you eat raw lobsters, which some people do. Lobsters Rockefeller, they're on ice and they're actually still alive. You. How could you do that? Just swallow a living creature so it dies in your belly? Ew. But some people do that. So your sister got the shrimp and she was fine, but you had a bad reaction. Some say it's the iodine in the shrimp, but I'm sure there are other factors. I don't know. Anyway, gotta be careful with food, especially now. And by the way, after I got the food poisoning from the iceberg lettuce, after I got sick, I learned that there was a recall on iceberg lettuce for salmonella. And I think they're trying to stop us from panicking by calling it salmonella. It's Salmonella botulinum. It's actually botulism. Oh, you were in the single digits. Yeah. Well, when you ate the shrimp, well, yeah, very young kids will have a hard time with things that are perfectly fine when they're adults. I never considered sauerkraut edible when I was growing up, but now I kind of like it. In small doses, I don't eat a great big bowl of it. It's good on a Reuben sandwich. Oh, and cardinal sin, in case you were not here when I mentioned this before, if you want to um, boost the flavor of a vegetable soup without adding animal products like broth, Vegemite and Marmite, either one, in a small quantity, will really boost the flavor and make it almost meaty. And they're yeast extract. They're not animal sourced. Jason says, I never liked sauerkraut. My grandmother used to make that all the time. Well, our school cafeteria would start, they'd get these big gallon cans of sauerkraut and put it in the pot to boil at 7 o'clock in the morning and serve it for lunch at 11:30. That's 4.5 hours. They did the same thing with canned spinach. You do that to anything and you yuck it up. The spinach came out like algae. It really looked like the stuff we saw growing in the gutter or on the edge of the creek. That green, gooey, icky stuff. Cardinal Sin loves sauerkraut, eh? Oh, Marmite and Vegemite. But there's all kinds of vegetarian and vegan broth. Yeah, I've made vegetable broth. Some onions and celery and carrots and whatever else I have around. You boil the hell out of it. Well, you simmer it. You don't want it bubble boiling for a long, long time and then strain it and then strain it again with a fine mesh strainer. Depending on whether you might want little tiny chunks of veggies in it. They have fiber and they probably still have some minerals and such. Oh, gooey. How did that phrase go? I forget where it came from. But when I was a teenager, the younger kids kept saying, "Ew, gooey, greasy green gopher guts." I don't remember where that came from, but Jason needed a good laugh about gooey, icky stuff, green gooey stuff. Yeah, there's lots of uh, the plant-based foods have really come a long way, but I still have my doubts. Last time at the grocery store, I wanted some Polish sausage. Kielbasa, same thing. All they had was a plant-based kielbasa, and I decided to wait and see if maybe they have the real thing next week. But I'm going back to the grocery store this week, and if they don't have the real thing, I'll try the plant-based kielbasa. Sometimes I have a craving for it with lots of mustard and green onions, also known as spring onions. There's another name for them. I forgot what it is. French fried eyeballs? No, thank you. Jason's gooey, greasy green gopher guts. Yeah. Jason says, in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, one of the children is actually singing that song. I object to that movie title. And it has crept into the evening news where we used to be able to count on proper English grammar for the most part. The word is shrank. We learned this in third grade when we were like 8 years old. 8 or 9 years old. Let's see, 6, 7, 8. 8 years old. Pardon me. Well, some kids were 9. Depended on which month you were born in. Shrink, shrank, has shrunk. And they keep saying the boat sunk. No, it didn't. It sank. Sink, sank, has sunk. Sink, sank, sunk. But we don't have drink, drank, drunk. Although if you keep drinking, you'll get drunk. Oh, pardon me. We do have drink, drank, drunk. But not on the evening news. He drunk a gallon of water. No, he didn't. He drank it. There are some words that don't follow that pattern, but most of our actual English words that we did not borrow from French or Latin do follow that pattern. Sink, sank, sunk, drink, drank, drunk, shrink, shrank, shrunk. I don't mind when ordinary people are just talking. You realize that immigrants or who are visiting will try to learn English by watching the evening news. And if the talking heads on the evening news don't know English, it makes it impossible for someone who's just learning the language to get it right. Of course, words don't mean what they used to mean. Yeah, we are not in a recession. Well, whatever we're in, it sucks. But I really don't expect a bunch of Republican congressmen to save the day. They're all crooks. It might send a message if the Democrats lose big time in November. But, it isn't their fault. It's our fault. We voted for those assholes. At least I think we did. I mean, there's always been some cheating. Biggest example in my lifetime was LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, who was Kennedy's vice president and became president after they shot Kennedy. Everybody knows, unless you don't want to know, that hundreds of dead people, at least hundreds, maybe thousands, voted for LBJ. Many people honestly did vote for him. And Goldwater, his opponent in the election, his Republican opponent, I don't know. They both promised to get us out of Vietnam. Goldwater said, we need to just quit fiddling around and win this war and get out. LBJ said, we have to just get out. It's not our business. Well, Goldwater never got the opportunity. He was not elected, but LBJ did nothing to get us out of Vietnam. He started drafting kids right out of high school to join the military and go fight in Vietnam. And both before and after that draft, many minorities, especially young black men, joined the military voluntarily because the only choices they had to make a living were either join the military or become a gangster, a criminal. You would not believe the racism, the discrimination of the 1960s. And it was better than previous decades. For example, in World War II, the black soldiers had their own platoons and divisions and so forth because they were not allowed to fight alongside white soldiers. Oh, and women were allowed to fly cargo planes, but not fighter jets. They didn't believe that women could be good pilots. So now the the soldiers with Mexican heritage, or even Mexican citizens who signed up, they could serve with white soldiers, but they were not treated well. Ah, Jason, fling, flang, flung. I'm not sure. Let's see. What do you do with verbs? You decline a noun. Forms of fling in grammar, since I can't think of the word. Tense. The past tense of fling is flung. Let me see. Nope. So fling is one of those verbs that do not follow the pattern. It's fling, flung, flung. Don't know why. Oh, yeah, the Nazis really treated the black soldiers badly, and they were pissed off because Jesse Owens won the Olympics in Berlin before the war started. And it was the first televised Olympics. It was on television, which, by the way, the Nazis, well, the Germans invented. They were the first to have television. And even after television became a thing, most news agencies, I know for sure in the United States, their photographers would go with their cameras and film the Olympics and fly the film back on a fast jet to Los Angeles, where the film was developed and then put on television. And around the time that President Kennedy was shot, we had this brand new thing. We had a satellite called Telstar. So when the news was covering first the parade and motorcade, and then the assassination in November 1963 of John Fitzgerald Kennedy, they were there with television cameras. They were not digital, but they were kind of like what you would. They recorded on tape, like what you would put on a VCR, and they were able to transmit directly from the camera to the Telstar satellite, and the satellite was beaming the transmission to Los Angeles, Denver, a few other large cities. Now, as far as I know, nobody got to watch it live, but within minutes, they had footage of the assassination on television stations. Now, it didn't go everywhere around the country, and some people to this day insist that it was never shown on television. Well, in the Los Angeles area where I lived, it was on television over and over all day long. The when we were when the school was notified, I was in 4th grade. The hall monitor kids brought a color television into the classroom. Very few people had color, but the schools had one, color television. And they showed the news to us while we were waiting for the office to call our parents and get permission to send us home. And when I got home, it was on all the television stations. All we had was 2 through 13. 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. And they were all showing the assassination. And it was footage I have never been able to find anywhere on the internet. But it was not the Zapruder film. It was from across the street from Zapruder. So John Kennedy was in the foreground and his wife Jackie was behind him. And then the announcer said, there's a man and a woman running across the bridge, and the camera panned over to the railroad bridge over the road they were on. I keep forgetting the name of the road they were on. And we never see that footage. Oh, Tuesdays with Tessa, huh? Well, I've been titling my videos Tuesday. I sometimes record things. Here and there I go live on an odd day and time. Jason says 3/4-inch tape was used for TV, at least in the early 90s. Well, in the 60s, actually 1970, we had a field trip to, must have been NBC, the network that had Hollywood Squares. Yeah, in Burbank, and the tape they were using then was 2 inches. The technology had to be tweaked and improved before they could use smaller tape. But my VHS tapes for the VCR, I think they're 3/4 of an inch. Oh, the woman in the polka dot dress, that was when Bobby Kennedy was shot. But the man with the umbrella, yeah, that he was unusual. It wasn't raining. Although I have been known to use a parasol to keep the sun off my head. Yep, they killed Jack. That's what they called John Kennedy. They killed Jack, they killed Bobby, and they just kind of winged Ted Kennedy. They made sure that a woman drowned in his car when it went into a lake. Was that Chappaquiddick? Anyway, Mary Jo Kopechne drowned and Ted Kennedy survived. Yeah, the second gun is interesting. Frankly, VHS is only 1/2 inch. How interesting. They really improved the technology before they decided to go with CDs and DVDs. Yeah. Yeah, Ted probably was drunk. But this was before cell phones. His car probably had a phone. It would be bolted to the console and it would weigh 5 or 10 pounds and work off of radio signals like a CB. Oh, Mae Brussel, yeah, he's like, I'm sorry, she's amazing. I don't think she's with us any longer, but she left an amazing body of work. Speaking of such things, in the digital age, but not digital like we have now, a digital camera that would take video weighed a good 20 pounds and it was huge. I was with other students on a college project filming the drag races in Bakersfield, and the local TV news station was trying to get footage, and the battery in their camera went dead, and the spare battery wasn't charged either. So we let them use our battery, and they gave us a big thank you on their broadcast. They said a big shout out to Chapman College for their assistance with this video. Amazing. We didn't think to just say, well, you can use our footage. We just gave them our battery. They were so happy. And it was the right thing to do. I got an autograph from Big Daddy Don Garlitz. And I didn't really care, but Dad did when I gave it to him. And we talked to Don the Snake Prudhomme and, of course, Shirley Muldowney. She hated being called Cha Cha. Well, yeah, her outfit was pink and her car was pink, but she was a serious drag racer. It was good publicity, I guess, for her, but she didn't like people walking up to her and saying, "Hi, Cha Cha." Her name was Miss Muldowney or Shirley. Anyway, you can find Mae Brussels, at least clips, on YouTube. Richard Nixon did some good things, so they Watergated him, but I wasn't happy with that jerk anyway. He founded the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency, and they're probably one of the biggest drug dealers in the nation. Yeah, they'll bust small time drug dealers. They never get the big ones, or rarely. They must be paid off. But Nixon did not pull us out of Vietnam. He planned to. He ended the draft and he was preparing to get us out of Vietnam when they Watergated him. So his third or fourth vice president, I forget how many he had, they kept getting charged with felonies. Well, Gerald Ford took over and he oversaw the pullout from Vietnam, pulling out our troops. And it was, pardon the cussing, but there's no better word for it or phrase. It was a shit show. They left behind dogs. They classified their dogs as equipment, and they left behind all their equipment. Sound familiar? They left behind Vietnamese people who had helped us, and their lives were in danger. As far as I know, the only Others they left behind were POWs, and they've done darn little in how many years? Let's see, that was 74, so almost 50 years, 48 years. They've done darn little to repatriate POWs. They have persuaded Vietnam to give up some of the American dead for proper burial in Arlington. But the few POWs who have been rescued, and you don't hear about them, were rescued by veterans and others who just did it because it's the right thing. But our government doesn't want to admit that we left POWs behind and never even asked to get them back. Let's see. I don't see anything new in chat. I'm at an hour and 40. Wow. Last time I barely did an hour. Anyway, it is a lovely Tuesday morning. And I'm still not apologizing that I voted for Jimmy Carter because his opponent was Gerald Ford, who, by the way, served on the Warren Commission and oversaw that disgusting, deplorable, embarrassing pullout from Vietnam. They almost made me a Democrat. Uh-oh, Cardinal Sin says, BRB, be right back. I can't hang on too much longer, but I really, really, really just despise most politicians. Most of them, not all. The federal government takes $1 from you, gives 10 cents back to your state. Your state gives 1 penny back to your county, and your county gives 1/10 of a penny to your city. And they call it free government money. No, it's your dollar that has shrunk down to 1/10 of a penny because everybody takes a cut along the way. And they all do it. And if things pass in the Senate, we will have 87 more IRS auditors. That's more than doubles the number we have already. I think we have 79, and that would add 87. Or maybe we have 77 and they're adding 89. I often get numbers backward. We'll have higher taxes on what they call wealthy. Trust me, if your annual income is less than 1 million, you're not wealthy. You might feel like you are, but you are not. If you don't have 10 million in the bank, you are not wealthy. But you'll pay more taxes. And let's see, everybody's being taxed by sales tax. When prices go up, you pay more sales tax. And the retailer pays more income tax. they're making more money, even though it isn't worth as much as it was a year ago. Nobody, even people who are on welfare and Medicare or state Medicaid, living in homeless shelters, even they pay taxes one way or another. My water's empty. I'm going to fill it and talk a little bit longer before I have to sign off. I'll be right back. Dum de dum, dum de dum de dum, dum de dum, dum de dum de dum, dum de dum, dum de dum de dum. Oh, Tora's on her penthouse. I should show you Tora's penthouse before I go. There she is on the balcony of her penthouse. Come on. Come on, camera. It's messing with me. There. Turn the chair. Here we go. See? Pretty kitty. Sleeping in her penthouse apartment in her condo. Yes, such a good girl. She's such a cutie pie. She's big and heavy and getting a little fat. But she's my kitty cat. Sweetie is hiding. All right. Time to get going. So let's type in thank you all for listening and have a great day, week, and month. And I'll catch you guys another time. If I come across those cookbooks, I will do not an unboxing, but an unveiling of my yard sale finds. Thanks, guys. It's lovely to have all of you here. And Max, I think you're the only one left who has not won a book. So next time you'll probably win because everybody else already got one. Oh gosh, eye itchy, sorry. Okay, gotta go. You guys make the chat what it is, and it's good. Bye.